Well, hello, Uplevel Your Consciousness group and Powerful Potential and Purpose fan page. Thank you so much for joining us today for our special presentation as we continue this month of elevating our consciousness in order to navigate our future. And today I have a colleague that is here with us that is going to help you take a quantum leap. Who out there is ready to take a quantum leap? Well, I am. And so I want to bring on Dr. Jane Smolnik. Let's bring her on here. And I'm going to introduce her. So those of you that have been watching, you know that I've been introducing people by a feeling and a message I get from spirit. So she is the eyes of insight, here to elevate the wisdom of our spiritual health. Welcome, Jane.
Thank you so much, Gloria. I'm so happy to be here too. So thanks for inviting me. And hello to everybody out there. So I really wanted to talk for a few minutes today about raising your vibration and your frequency. Because as you know, we've been in very stressful times. This has been kind of challenging for a lot of people. And it's really hard to not get sucked into the drama and the fear and what's going on. So let's talk about the things that you can do to really raise your frequency. Now, you guys have probably all heard that the famous Nikola Tesla statement that everything, if you want to find out the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So, and that is so true when it comes to our health as well and protecting our health. So I really want to discuss this with you a little bit. So right here we have a human frequency chart. So I want to explain something to you. A healthy body actually vibrates between 62 and 72 megahertz, which means million pulses per second. That's why we appear solid, but we're actually not. We're vibration. So do you know that you can't even be sick or have a cold unless you're down to 59 megahertz? A flu is actually 57 megahertz. You cannot get the flu unless your frequency is low. Things like cancer would be like 42 megahertz. And the lower your frequency goes, the more acidic your body is, the more prone to disease you are. So if you want to keep yourself really strong and powerful, think in terms of increasing your frequency. And we're going to discuss a few things that can help you do that, okay? So you can go to the next slide, Gloria. So first of all, think about increasing your God energy, right? Do you remember? I remember growing up as a kid, we always had to say a blessing and a prayer over our food before we ate. Many people don't even do that anymore, but it's a really good idea to practice offering blessings and prayers every day. Bless your food, bless your water, bless your gardens, bless your family, your friends, bless your society. Just offer a simple blessing. Something like, I ask that this day be a day of heaven on earth for me and for everyone I encounter today. Just something simple. So another thing that can really raise your frequency is to connect with the energy of the sun. We tend to be indoors too much. And you may have heard about grounding, which is really about going outside and putting your feet on the ground. Bare feet is best. And the hour before or just after sunrise, as well as the hour just before sunset, when the sun is at the horizon, is really the best time to do this. And it really just takes a few seconds. So ideally, when you're going outside and you put your feet on the ground and you just kind of welcome the sun, right? And when it's at the horizon, you don't want it to be too high because that can be damaging to your eyes. And you don't actually look directly at the sun. What you want to do is look to the east of the sun, and then the south of the sun, the west, and the north. Just kind of go around and allow that golden light to just fill your energy field. And if you can't do it, whether it's too early in the morning for you or just before sunset, you can actually do it in your meditation, because this is something I love to do. Meditation is a great way to raise your frequency, because we're getting out of our busy thinking mind that's worrying and stressing and fear and guilt and doubt and all these things. Oh, I'm going a little too fast. Yeah. So anyway, one of the things that I like to do when I meditate is just picture this golden light just pouring down on me. And golden light is one of the highest frequencies, especially when it's coming from our heavenly world, our universe in a sense, especially the sun, which really feeds us and gives us light. So just even thinking about bringing in that golden light is awesome. So But if you can do it, just bless the sun, be grateful, ask those golden rays of sun to just fill your body, fill your energy field with light, with that high frequency energy. So now you can go to the next one. And think about the foods you eat. Are they really wholesome, organic foods in their whole state form mainly? More fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and beans are really high vibrational foods. Of course, organic is even better. Now, if you were to look at this chart here, how to lower your frequency, what you're going to notice is the things that actually have the highest vibrational frequency are considered superfoods. You've probably heard about superfoods, right? And these are things that have a lot of dense sunlight in them. Things like chlorella, wheatgrass, barleygrass, spirulina. All of those dense greens are extremely alkalizing and they're excellent. Also think about foods that are very antioxidant rich, like acai berries and mulberries and blueberries. They're all highly beneficial for us. They really help us eliminate the oxidative stress and damage in the body. So really think about your fruits, your vegetables, your foods. What you want to be aware of is the fact that foods that are highly processed, boxed foods, have a negative energy. They actually will drain your body of nutrients just trying to deal with them. They also are more acidic. They bring your frequency down. Think about sugar. Sugar, 1 tablespoon of sugar actually reduces your immune system for the next 5 hours. So we don't often think about that. Microwaved food is another thing. It really destroys the energy pattern of the food. It jumbles it up. It's an artificial means of heating. So your body actually has to use up energy just to deal with processed food, sugary foods, genetically modified foods, artificial foods, microwaved foods, all of those. So be aware, you really don't want to, use many of those foods at all. Really think about wholesome foods from the earth, foods from the trees, superfoods. You can have some animal foods as well, or even fish is also good for you, but you really want to have some of the really high frequency foods to really raise your vibration, your frequency, and your health. Let's go to the next one here. So think about also kind of your consciousness, where you're at. So when we're in our ego mind, our head, and our mind is thinking of all these fears, doubts, worries, concerns, and all that can actually bring us down. And this is a chart. If you think about, these are all creative energy experiences that raise your vibration. So courage is the first level there that actually starts increasing your level of power. And then being neutral about things, not having judgments. Gloria and I were just talking about this. It's like we have a tendency in our society to label and judge everyone and everything. And the minute you do that, it creates separation. So what we want to do is be neutral. Everything is just the way it is, and it's totally okay. Allow the universe to unfold as it should. And then willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, all of these things will raise your vibration. Start thinking about appreciation and gratitude and love. Now let's go to the next slide and see these higher vibrations actually dissolve negativity. This is the lower end of the scale. Okay, so below courage, these become very destructive energies. You have pride, well, I'm better than you are. Anger, hate, aggression is a low vibrating energy. Desire, greed is like a fungus or a disease. Fear, worry, and anxiety. A lot of people have a lot of anxiety right now. Learn to shift that. The opposite of fear is trust, right? Things like grief, sadness, depression, apathy, hopelessness, guilt, victimhood, shame, humiliation. These things really bring your vibration down. And it's something that you have on the inside, on the soul level, for you to bring it up and actually help to heal it. It's something that's trying to get your attention, to bring it into the light. And ideally, any of these negative difficulties in our life, the traumas in our life, the minute you turn them around, to the equal and opposite of what it is, then which might be things like deep trust. It might be appreciation, it might be love, it might be a sense of connection and unity. That is actually how the soul heals. So the negative vibrations, be aware of where your mind is at and do whatever it is you need to do to help raise your vibration. And very often it starts by appreciating things. So let's go to the next one here. So this is an emotional guidance scale, okay? So the upward spiral here is, you start to be, what am I content with? What am I appreciating? I'm hopeful about things. I'm optimistic and really looking at, being enthusiastic, being positive, having joy, really noticing, taking little breaks during the day to notice, and I call it taking sips of joy. Think about little things during the day that bring you joy. It could be going to the grocery store and you see this adorable baby smile, right? Or it could be seeing these beautiful flowers in your garden or on your table, or taking a walk in nature, or playing with your pets or your children. I mean, all the little things that bring you joy. Really notice them and bring them in. So what's going to bring you down are some of the negative frequencies here. We have frustration, overwhelm, disappointment, doubt, worry, fear, discouragement, anger, hatred, rage, revenge, jealousy, insecurity, fear, grief, and depression. All these things bring us down. And your health will suffer, your energy field will suffer, and you're more prone to disease because it's bringing your vibration down. The more you can bring your vibration up with positive energy, positive emotions, positive thoughts, what you say, think, do, and feel, what you eat can be a really big influence in how strong and empowered you are, especially if you don't want to get sick. So let's go to the next one. So essential oils are something I wanted to mention too, because they are extremely high frequencies. Essential oils from plants are actually distilled to take the oil only from the plant. It's a fragrance, and they're very minute, tiny particles. So if you look at megahertz here, which is million pulses per second, rose oil, even though it can be very expensive, a small bottle of it, do you know it takes 400 pounds of just rose petals to make 1 ounce of rose oil? But you just need a drop. And it can be extremely healing as well because it's raising your vibration. Helichrysum is another one. Frankincense, the wise men really knew frankincense and myrrh, they brought us gifts because they were very high frequency. That's known to actually help with a number of diseases. So any of these oils, even lavender, is something everybody should have. That has over 100 medicinal properties to it. And it's a nice, easy to get, it's not expensive, and it's a very high frequency. So with any of these oils, I mean, you can breathe them in. You can put just a couple of drops on your fingertips. You might want to put one drop on the side of your temples or over your heart area or even on your wrist, or just rub it on your fingers and breathe it in, okay? Because that's going to raise your frequency. Whenever you're sick, things like a cold or a flu, one of the things I always recommend is the number one thing you should do is a steam inhalation, which means, do you remember this from a long time ago? You get a bowl of water with a towel over your head and you put 1 or 2 drops of essential oil. It could be lavender or eucalyptus or anything you have. And just breathe in the steam into your nose, into your lungs, into your mouth, your throat. And they're very minute particles and they're actually extremely antibacterial. But they raise your frequency. They actually raise the frequency of all your organs, your tissues. And they can actually help counteract a number of different diseases. So they're extremely beneficial. Okay, next one. So think about spiritual immunity. It's actually a real thing. We pay attention, we pay so much attention to our physical body. We've got aches and pains, or this is happening and that's not happening, or your digestion isn't functioning well. And we spend a lot of time and energy trying to improve that. And which is great. And using natural remedies can be extremely helpful. But to really be truly holistic, you also have to pay attention to your mind. Where are your thoughts going? Are you feeding negativity? Are you blaming? Are you judging? Are you getting into the whole drama game of the media that's going on? Our social media can be a high stress for a lot of people. I don't even watch the news. If there's important things going on, I definitely hear about it and I can look things up on the internet. But I am not going to be fed things that who knows what's correct, what's true, and what's not. What is true for you is true for you. So change your reality a little bit, change your thoughts. And one thing that can be really helpful when you see or hear yourself saying a negative thought, like, oh, that's terrible, or I can never do that, or this doesn't work for me. Actually, think about it as putting up a little red flag in your head and saying, whoops, I have to actually change that statement. So it could be, you know what, that used to be difficult for me, but I'm learning ways to change things every day. And I'm really looking at things more positively. So that can be really helpful. I think there might be one more slide. Maybe not. Okay. So these are things that actually you have to pay attention to. And what I want to mention, even about spiritual health, the more you connect with your soul, with your divine center, with your higher self, your higher mind is not something that actually judges. It's not in fear. It just observes. It's very neutral. It's very loving, very compassionate, very peaceful. So take time every day to even meditate. You may want to do things like some Tai Chi or Qigong or yoga, things that really help ground you, center you, help you feel more alive, but also have a higher vibration. Do you know people feel it? Just like when you go into a room and somebody's angry or upset, you feel it, right? But if you walk into a room and somebody is being loving and open, you are actually drawn to that person. People want to be around you. When people are being negative and fearful and angry, it actually repels people. Who wants to be around that? So you have total control over increasing your power, increasing your vibration, increasing your immune system, increasing your energy, and really holding on to more light, more love, more compassion, more joy. So I hope that's helpful for everybody, because I think that it's really important for us to share with everybody else in our society ways to support each other, because we're all in this together. So thank you so much. And I want to thank Gloria for doing this, because there are a lot of excellent, helpful speakers on here. So thank you for inviting me to join you. Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you, Dr. Jane. I appreciate all the reminders. And I just want to add a little bit here for all the listeners. Everything Jane just mentioned, I actually took 5 days away from all the negative things, all the social media, the media, and everything she was talking about, the foods, the frequency, nature, the meditation, completely shifted how I see things, how I feel things, my perspective of, and Jane, it actually got me into a place of wisdom of what I really need.
Yeah. Yeah. I call it kind of connecting with your heart and soul.
Absolutely.
So
So
if
a
you,
lot of people are saying thank you and thank you for sharing your
you're
wisdom. If you
welcome.
have a question, please drop it down below. And if we don't get to it right now, Dr. Jane will come back and look at it in a little while and she will respond to you. So do you have any last words, especially during these challenging times, Jane? I know for me, I was getting mentally exhausted to the point where I didn't even know what was truth. And you talked about, connecting and knowing that our truth is our truth. But you get so caught up sometimes you don't even know what that was. And my brain was really messing with me and I had to remove myself. So
Yep.
I don't know if you have felt that or know anybody that does, but do you have any comment around the mental exhaustion that happens when you're not in the
Yes. Yes, I'm so glad you asked that, because that's really important. Because if you think about it, when we're in our mind, right, our little brain and our ego mind has all these fears, doubts, worries, concerns, expectations, limitations, judgments. We're trying to figure it all out. And we're bombarded with all this information. And it'll actually drive you crazy. And the very important thing is like what you just did is going out into nature, or what I really suggest with people very often is when we tend to be in our head and figuring everything out, we tend to breathe very shallow, like from the neck up, right? So what I tell people is put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, your solar plexus, and breathe deep into your heart and into your soul, and just breathe deep. The minute you start breathing gently all the way down to your belly, you actually help calm the nervous system. You activate the vagus nerve, you calm the stress response, and breathe into your heart and soul. Like if you were in your busy, active, thinking, fearful mind, and I said to you, Gloria, what's really important to you right now? You would tell me something very logical, and I would agree with you, right? But if I said, okay, now put your hand on your heart and breathe into your heart. Put your hand on your belly, breathe into your gut, into your soul. And if I said to you, Gloria, what's really important to you? You would tell me something much more meaningful. So our heart is actually so much more powerful than our mind. So
I
we're not
agree.
meant to live in the mind. We're meant to live in our heart. So think
No,
about doing
and
that.
typically, I don't, but
Mm-hmm.
it was definitely a good test, for me
Mm-hmm.
to use all the tools I have, and then to realize if I wasn't using more than the normal during
Mm-hmm.
times and during a change of my living situation, that didn't matter how much knowledge I had around all that, I could still get caught up in it. And I just want to tell everybody, be gentle on yourself. And like Jane and others that have been our presenters, there's been some wonderful advice. And if we don't put it into action, it's not going to work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you guys want recordings of all the different presenters, please remember to go down and register at ppp-publishing.com events. It's right down there. And I will be sending a newsletter out to you all soon, because I've got to update some things. Being out in nature, I didn't have internet, which was a good thing.
Yeah.
But you'll get all the recordings. So even if you miss something live or you forgot it on your calendar, no worries, just go register. And you'll also be able to link up with the different presenters like Dr. Jane and the others, so that you can find out more about them and information. And a lot of them have even maybe something else to offer you. So be sure to do that. So Dr. Jane, it's always a pleasure to hang out with you.
You
And
too, Gloria.
glad that you made the time today to share this wisdom, and they're wonderful reminders for everybody. So let's give Dr. Jane, everybody, some hearts, give her some love for
Mm-hmm.
taking time out of her busy schedule and being here for all of us, so that we remember what it takes to raise our human frequency. And
Mm-hmm.
any closing words you have for our people?
I just want to send blessings to everybody, because we are in a very beautiful time, actually, if you think about it. We're really, all the old stuff is sloughing away. So really hold on to your light, your vision, your frequency, that love and compassion, so that we can all get through this much better. So
I
thank you all.
agree. And when we were talking about 2020, everybody, the beginning of the year, it was a year of
Mhm.
vision and perspective. Is it ever? Did we not know what we were really putting out there and asking for? Oh my God.
Yeah, we're seeing things very clearly now, or we
We're
will
seeing
be.
things very differently, that's for
Mhm.
sure. So blessings
Thank
to you,
you.
Jane, everybody that came on live. If you watch the recording and you have a question, please put it down below. And I will put the recording up for all of you to listen to for a few days. Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Thank
Jane.
you.
Okay, so just remember to go down below, and here is the link to register, so that you have access to all the information from all the people. Tomorrow, we have two presenters. We have Jenna Sky on the Cosmic Heart, and we have Sharon Kistler on Letting Go. Okay, two beautiful heart-centered ladies here to help you raise your frequency and up-level your consciousness. Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful day.